Okay, so this week a very momentous occasion is happening in the coffee industry. The Best of Panama auction for 2025 is going down. Now, this one's probably the most significant ever, and I think the most hyped ever because there are going to be many records broken. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why that is and whether or not that's a good thing for the coffee industry. A lot of people would have some conjecture about that, but let's just start from, I guess, what the Best of Panama is. So for those who are new here, basically what farmers in Panama do is they submit coffees to a competition where it's graded to see, I guess they're pitted against other coffees and they're scored on their quality, and whoever has the highest score according to the scoring system wins. So basically people who are professional cuppers who are part of the panel, they're accredited, they'll go and cup all the coffees and score it from 0 to 100. Often coffees in this competition score over 90, so they're in a very, very high distinction. And this year there were some absolutely stunning results. And one farm, Hacienda La Esmeralda, the most storied coffee farm in all of coffee, took out all three available categories. So there was the varieties category where they used a Lorena and they won that. There was the Geisha Natural category where you obviously had a Geisha Natural. They won that with a coffee that scored 97 points. And get this, with the Washed coffee, they won that too with a Geisha that scored 98 points, which is absolutely incredible. And according to some, it might be the highest scored coffee ever. It literally might be the best coffee that's ever been grown. So, and it's not just like one person cups this coffee and makes a determination that that's the score. There's multiple people that cup it, and then I believe the average of those scores is used, or the median, and that will be what is the final score. And across these three results, it was 98 for the Washed, 97 for the Natural, and I believe 92 for the Lorena, which is just absolutely incredible. And the reason why this, I guess, is so significant is because obviously Hacienda La Esmeralda won, but Hacienda La Esmeralda is the OG in Panama coffee. So in 2004, they took this really well-known variety and well-appreciated variety in coffee now called Geisha to Panama. So I recorded a podcast with Kai Jansen, who owns a neighboring farm in Panama, not too far away, and he had this to say. So if you don't take my word for it, this is another coffee farmer. Discovery of Geisha by the Peterson family. So the Peterson family are the ones that own Hacienda La Esmeralda. And they've kind of always gone about things their own way, where other farms have kind of experimented with processing and done a lot more in that sort of regard. Esmeralda's always kind of just stuck to conventional processing, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but they've always got a very distinct flavor profile. It's floral, it's sweet, it's not artificial. Very much, they take what the harvest gives them, and I think if I compare this to wine, there's so many parallels there. Where I watched this documentary called Somm on Netflix, where basically there was a lot of the vineyards and the sommeliers. They're so familiar with each harvest, and they reflect on each harvest, and they have certain things that make them remember them by. I remember there was this one in Napa Valley where there was an earthquake at the vineyard, and they called it the earthquake harvest, and they can remember it by taste. And where I'm going with this is this might be the best coffee ever, two of the best coffees ever. And there's no guarantee that this will ever happen again. There's no guarantee this will ever happen again. And at Coffee Origins these days, like, there's such turbulent weather. In that podcast I did with Kai, he kind of spoke about how the seasons are changing at Origin, and that's significant as well. But because this may never happen again, the price will be so high, every record is going to be shattered. And my prediction for this is that both the Geisha Washed and Geisha Natural will go for over $20,000 US, and maybe even reach $30,000 per kilogram for the coffees. I just think it can be the brand of Hacienda La Esmeralda is so strong, and the appreciation within the industry. And because this coffee because coffee in general may not ever be produced at this quality ever again. Like there's no guarantee of that. That's why I think this will go for over $20,000 US, maybe even 30. I don't know, but the current record is somewhere around 13,000, and I think that's where the bidding starts for these coffees. That was a 96-point coffee from Elita Estate, very respected in the game, but I think the bidding starts at 13,000. I think it could even go as high as 30 if you ask me. That's how much people will want to buy these coffees. Now, is this a good thing for the industry? Yeah, well, you could argue yes and no. Like on one hand, on the bad, I think that I don't want to see coffee become too much like wine, where only the rich get to try these things. And the other layer in coffee is that someone with a lot of money might buy these, but does it go to the most skilled hands? Coffee's so hard to get right, and I don't like it, just because someone buys it for this amount of money doesn't mean it gets to the best roaster, doesn't mean it gets to the best brewer. And maybe it does, but I just you don't know that that's going to happen. And so as much as I don't want to see coffee become too much like wine, for this coffee to be served at its best, it needs to. You would hope that it just goes to some skilled hands and is enjoyed by some people as much as possible. Where I think it's good is obviously we need coffee worldwide is growing. Coffee worldwide, there's more demand for it than ever before, and this is sort of obviously it's fantastic for the Peterson family, but I think this gives something for other farmers around the world to aspire to. There's merit in trying to grow the best coffee possible. There's unbelievable coffees in Colombia, in Ecuador, in Africa that rival a lot of Panamanian coffees, and they get sold at an extremely high price. So you think about Geisha Village, you think about La Palma El Tucán, you think about Juan Peña in Ecuador. There's some brilliant producers in Tequesi in Bolivia and Los Rodriguez in Bolivia. So there's plenty of good producers that are capable of achieving amazingly high prices and growing coffee that, could be this good. Panama seems to do it year in, year out. And, they've got this special kind of convergence of altitude, weather, volcanic soil, all the rest. So they do really well. But again, I think this is going to fetch the biggest score ever. And it could be $30,000, honestly. Like, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But this is going above 20. This is going above 20. I think it's that's very easy to imagine. And can you imagine tasting coffee like this? Like, I think the highest scoring coffee I've ever had. It actually is 96. I had the Aguacatillo from Elita Estate I mentioned earlier. I had that at the beginning of this year, and that was incredible. But look, I mean, once you get up to past that, it's like I didn't even know coffee. It's possible to produce coffee like that. And as well, when I do these things, when I ask about these things, say for example, you ask 5 panelists or 5 people who have just tried it, and you get a mix of opinions in coffee. There's so many people that are opinionated about different things, or they think, oh yeah, it's not that good. But I've not heard one bad thing about any of these coffees. I've not heard one single bad thing from people I've asked that are very respected. I've spoken to people that were on the panel and they're all just beside themselves with this coffee. It's pretty momentous, and I think that it'll be super interesting to see. I think sometimes like a lot of, I think last year's one that the Elita Estate went to a Korean roaster for $13,000 a kilo. I mean, there's people out there in Saudi Arabia or Dubai that, have all the money to be able to purchase this. And why wouldn't you? It's literally, the best coffee ever produced. So, and again, no guarantee it ever gets done again. So if you want a slice of history, this is it. So yeah. I sure hope that one day I can try these coffees. I've spoken to Rachel from Esmeralda about doing a podcast in the future, and she seems keen for that. I'm just super excited. So let me know in the comments, do you think that this will go for over $20,000? Do you think it will reach $30,000? Do you think that this is a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? And who's going to buy it? Do you need me to come over there and brew it for you? I can help. I can definitely help. Kirk Pearson putting his hand up for duty. Anyway, yep, like and subscribe. Help me grow this channel. That would be awesome. Much appreciated. And I hope to see you soon. Almost forgot. This video is sponsored by Time More products. So if you need Time More at your cafe or at home, timemore.com.au. Hand grinders, electric grinders, brewers, scales, whatever. You need Time More at your shop, at your home, whatever. timemore.com or visit your local distributor near you. Anyway, that's me. Hooroo.